Thank you so much. My name is Jonathan Reichental. I'm the Chief Information Officer with the City of Palo Alto. It's an absolute privilege and an honor to be able to speak about open data to you. So I really want to just spend a minute or two, and I want to talk to you about why I believe and why the City of Palo Alto believes that open data in particular is such a critical part of our community's future. And I'll just talk about 5 quick points. The first point I want to talk about is whether open data is a question of being an easy or hard process or a right or wrong process. From our perspective, it's not about being easy or hard, right? We think this is about doing the right thing. We think that open data is an obligation, by the way, that we've always had, that we're just now meeting, which is we got to give our data back to the community in which it belongs. So first and foremost, in the life cycle of where we are at with open data, it's about doing the right thing, and governments owe that to their people. The second thing I want to talk about is the transformational effect that open data can have on cities. If we're going to solve some of the big problems that cities have, whether it's transportation, energy, climate change, healthcare, we're going to have large volumes of really good data, large volumes. And it just so happens in governments where there's so much debt and deficit, the one area where we have a surplus is in data. Governments have lots and lots of data, and it's rich data. And so we're going to have to unleash it. And that's what I think you're talking about today, and I think what we're all talking about is how can we unleash that public data so that we can address these big problems. We can make that data, put that data in the hands of innovators, entrepreneurs, academics, every demographic, and every part of our society, so that we can change the game in how cities operate and how we're going to deal with the big problems in the future. The third area is how data can transform the internal functioning of government, right? In much the same way as the data made available to communities, these large communities I've spoken about, can be useful and important. Equally, that has to be made available in an easy-to-consume format for government workers. And so those platforms that we will put in place that make it available to the public will be the same platforms that make it available to city staff. But when city staff and government staff know that the data that they're using, sometimes producing, often collecting, is subject to significant oversight, it can change the behavior. It can change the behavior of how our government operates. Governments should fear the people. People shouldn't fear governments. And as a government worker, knowing that there are eyes and oversight on your data can help in the way that services are deployed and the integrity and trust of what we do is ensured. The fourth point I want to talk about is this expensive? Elected officials often ask me, is open data a choice between filling a hole in a road or fixing a light or publishing data? Is that a real choice? I think that's a false choice. I think we have to do both. And actually, a good open data platform is ultimately going to contribute towards towards reducing the costs of filling that pothole or repairing that light. It's going to make those activities more efficient when the data is managed and used in a very optimized way. So it shouldn't be a question of cost. And I'll talk just from the perspective of the City of Palo Alto. We didn't spend a lot of money on this. The greatest effort in making open data available for us has been cultural, has just been convincing people of the value, of convincing department heads of what they need to do, how they can can contribute, how they can make this happen. That's just time, that's persistence, that's having good arguments, that's having passion and believing in it. So the costs are that, the costs aren't necessarily dollars or euros. And I think any city can have a platform up and running for under $10,000 in a basic way. And then as you get more complex, as you mature your environment, you'll add to that amount. I think the final thing is, and I think if nothing else convinces people of the value of open data, it's going to be the question of economics. It's going to be the question of, can we generate new wealth in our communities through releasing government data? And all the evidence suggests not only will we do that, but we will do it in a very significant way. A recent study by McKinsey, the large world consulting firm, says when governments open up their data, there could be up to a $3 trillion contribution to GDP in the planet. As we release data sets, make them available, machine consumable, entrepreneurs, innovators, all sorts of people will build applications and solutions for their communities, for making smart cities. And that's going to be worth a lot of money. That's going to generate new businesses, create a lot of jobs, and that's really good. So that is an economic positive that will emerge out of this. I think as I look at this, those are very important things, and I think we can celebrate them. But it's the results. It's actually the contributions that establishing an open data platform and an open data culture can actually contribute to, which is better cities. And our bottom line, I think your bottom line, is this has to contribute to a better quality of life, because that's, I think, what we're all accountable to. Thank you.